Yeah, we're going to talk about Lisa Frankenstein. This has actually been a very highly requested movie that I review and do a deep dive on. And this was actually the first film of 2024 that I actually reviewed on my TikTok. I will dive into a little bit of a synopsis, and I'm actually taking this from IMDb because I just loved how they put it together. It says, coming of rage love story about a teenager and her crush who happens to be a corpse. After a set of horrific circumstances bring him back to life, the two embark on a journey to find love, happiness, and a few missing body parts. How awesome is that description?
It's damn accurate.
So, I'll be honest. When I got sent the recommendation from you, I like looked at the IMDb page and I was like, I'm either gonna love this movie or I'm gonna absolutely hate it. And I was like, just by the mere description and having one of the Sprouse brothers into it, I was just like, wow, this is gonna be a lot. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I'll do a little bit of a backstory. So it actually was directed by Zelda Williams, who happens to be Robin Williams' daughter. So this is her feature-length directorial debut. So that's pretty fun. And
Yeah.
it was written by Diablo Cody, who did Juno and also Jennifer's Body. And I actually, during my Jennifer's Body review a couple years ago, I was mentioned in my review that Diablo Cody should do more of these type of like horror movie type of fun type of things, and this movie is it, so I'm like, I'm so glad she tapped into this genre again.
I think this is accurate. Diablo Cody said that this movie takes place in the same universe as Jennifer's Body,
Yeah,
which is a very interesting rabbit hole to potentially go down.
yeah, seriously. Like, right after this recording, I low-key might actually watch Jennifer's Body because,
Sure.
like, I just wanna see how these connect. Like, I get it, but I also am like, does it really?
You're gonna
Shit.
be
If you can
Gonna be snapping at the screen like, wait.
if you can bring back like Cole Sprouse from the 1800s with lightning, I'm pretty sure you can have like a horny demon going around killing people.
That's so true. And I'm like, you know what? That checks out. I
It's
mean, I doubt there's
crazy.
any Jennifer's Body Easter eggs. During my research, I couldn't find any, but other than that one. But yeah, let's just hop into the review. Dylan, what was your thought?
So it's funny when I watched this film. I think like when I first started like getting into it, I like my expectations went from what the hell I'm watching to like I think I'm gonna hate this movie. But at the end of it, I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's real fun, and I love the aesthetic of the movie. Like
Yeah, me
it has
too.
a very like I don't know how to describe it. It's just the aesthetic for like what it had going for it is wonderful. You know, I also think it's really funny too. I mean, the
Mhm.
main character's name is Lisa Swallows. So I mean,
Right.
do what you will with that information. Yeah, as the movie progressed, I mean, it just like took so many like twists and turns. It was just a fun movie, you know.
Mm, most definitely. Ray, what do you think?
About the same. Like, it's one of those movies where, like, generally, I probably wouldn't go watch it alone. I don't watch a lot of movies alone, mind you. Like, I liked the direction, I liked the art, like, the whole visual style it has was, like, very colorful, while still being this, like, it was a good contrast to how macabre and, like, suddenly dark it could get.
Yeah.
A lot of it, the back and forth of it was very entertaining without being jarring. Like,
Mhm.
simple fact of just this is like a very early thing, so I don't think this is a spoiler really. But like the fact that very early on they tell you about Lisa's mom, and it's just like, oh, okay, and then like 5 minutes later, like in the movie, his stepsister is just like, oh, your knees. It's like, yeah, I scraped them. It's like, yeah, I know. It's just like, hold on a minute. Quickly, like, hold on a minute. Don't go implying blowjob.
Yeah, you got
Too
it's
young to be
emotional.
implying that.
Right? I absolutely love the character of the sister. Honestly had like the best lines of the movie. Like her name is Taffy, which is like so hilarious.
Yeah.
But And I didn't notice this until my second viewing. Her license plate says Laffy T, and I'm like, that is so
Yeah.
funny.
It's so like it's so quirky to have all of these like little quirks and stuff into the
Yeah.
movie, like the whole
Mhm.
Laffy Tea and stuff. Um,
Mhm.
the sister was great. I love her
Mhm.
character. She reminds me of like the typical like cheerleader
Mhm.
in any type of movie, like kind of low key, but try to play it off as, well, I'm your sister. I'm just looking out for you.
That's the thing, though. Like, I would argue, I think she did genuinely care about her and was trying to be helpful, but
Mhm.
she, like, on the slick, she wasn't because she didn't get that basically in different realities. So it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it, but also calm down with your knees and your fucking cheerleader friends. Very revealing clothing.
Yeah.
Come down with
They
your knee.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Down with your knees.
Yeah, lotion on. The knees are looking kind of ashy. You know what I'm saying? Wear some pants next time.
Can we all agree? Can we all agree? Was the least problematic and a like bad person in her family, right?
The mom was the devil. Like,
No.
Yeah, my mom was
Stepmom's terrible. Dad didn't do shit. He just let everything happen. He sucked.
one of the funniest parts for me is like when they were talking about the mom, like the description of her mom and stuff over the phone, and then she just goes, "Yeah, she." Like after explaining her, I'm like, "Wow!" Like, even how the hell the police know she a bitch? Like,
right?
yeah.
It's
So
so funny. Like, I definitely, that's very signature of Diablo Cody's writing style, and I absolutely love it. It's very, like, there's a lot of random bits in it, but it's also, like, biting. The comedy is really biting, and I just love it. But one of my favorite lines is when she's talking about that she doesn't want Lisa to be in the loony bin, and then Taffy says, "You shouldn't be saying loony bin if you're a psych nurse."
Literally.
yeah.
That
That's
was
so
so
terrible.
funny.
And I mean, like, what really tripped me out is like when it came down, like Lisa, she really just didn't give a damn. But like when it came down to like very insignificant stuff, she was just like ready to break down. So like
Mhm.
when she was picking up like the china and stuff off the floor, and she was like, "Look at his neck!" Like I'm like, daughter-in-law, like
Eh,
So yeah, she got everything she deserved in that movie. I
yeah,
think like
by far. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit and talk about the visuals, the cinematography, the production design of everything. I think it's like so fun, and I agree with you guys. One of my favorite sequences is Lisa's dream sequence, which she has with like it's like goes all in black and white. And it's like there's this like indie rock song playing and everything, and there's like an ode to silent films that she likes watching, and it's just really cool, and it's like
The
so
portrait.
quirky and weird, and I just
Yeah.
love it.
And like the portrait of her mom that just straight up tells her, "Wash your hands, kiddo." Just
You
like,
know?
what the fuck?
yeah,
And the doll and just
My
like
hands.
right? It's just like I mean, after the third time watching that part, I'm like, this is like her freaky like wet dream.
yeah,
Right. I hadn't put that together. I could recognize was just like this just got real weird real fast, and
yeah.
this girl
She
got
over here playing
drugged
with the ocean.
15 seconds ago. This girl got drugged and then groped by a nerd, and now her dead mother's portrait in her black and white dream is telling her to wash her hands. I'm just like, what is happening?
There's a lot going, but I do think that that dream sequence is kind of like giving us like a sneak peek of like who she is as a person.
Mhm.
Just kind of like the quirkiness and like just her ideas and stuff like that. How she's kind of been feeling alienated after her mom,
Mhm.
was kind of shocking fashion. Like it almost seems so random to me.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I was, like, so shocked. I was like, "Wait a minute, this didn't really happen." Oh, in the universe of the movie, and I was like, "Oh, that actually happened?"
Yeah,
though. Just like, oh
It's
my
funny because
god.
it's so ironic. We thought, like, to me, I thought she was just exaggerating. She's like, no, she did have got by some
Random crazy motherfucker with an axe.
Yeah, and she hid. Like, he got away. Like, they just drop it on us. So I was like, are we gonna get like anything about the killer or
Nope.
no, or is that
Nope.
it?
That just happened. But I love the way that Taffy tells the story. The scene is at this party, right? And it starts off with Taffy talking to one of her friends. And then eventually is like Taffy talking to 5 of her friends or 4.
Yeah.
As the story progresses, I just love that element. Like, shout out to Zelda Williams. Like, you directed the scene out of like so well. And Diablo Cody, like that was so well done.
Yeah, for sure.
Girls were drunk.
Yeah, the girls were drunk. One of them almost threw up, but it's like that scene is so funny. Like, I don't really like. I don't know what the way. Like, I don't know. My feelings towards like Bobbin in films, like it depends on how it's done. But like the way that's done in this movie is hilarious.
Yep.
Like gagging and everything. Like you don't see anything, but a lot of people gag.
Oh yeah, a lot of people were gagging in this movie.
So yeah, if you're sensitive to gagging, probably not. Don't watch this movie. But if you are fine with people gagging, but it's like done in the most hilarious way possible, yeah, you'll like it. But yeah, we'll kind of skip forward a little bit to the corpse. Well, actually, the name of the character is relatively unnamed, but it's known. The character is known as the creature, played by Cole Sprouse.
Crazy.
I think he did such a great job in this. Like, it's actually really impressive how well he acted in this without really having any lines of dialogue. And I think I actually have some trivia about that too. Like, he actually got trained to do that by like an acting coach. Yeah. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Very impressive.
It's really dope, for sure.
Like the whole time, like whenever I saw him on screen, it was like, oh hey, it's Corpse Husband.
He got trained by a mime coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he can't talk. The Cole Sprouse skeptics, you might like it, and then you might like his performance. But for the Cole Sprouse simps, you're gonna love his performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like,
if you loved him for Jughead, you're gonna love this.
Yeah. He's a weirdo.
Yeah, I actually was like on the fence of him playing like this zombie because I guess my expectation was just like he was just gonna be like some talking zombie in this film with like no grit or anything like that, just kind of luscious hair and shit. But like when we first get it like introduced to him, I love how just like just visceral he is as a zombie. Just like it's really just like, I mean, I gotta commend him. Like he played a damn good zombie, but it's just so hilarious to see this kind of like interaction between Lisa and the creature, you know, as she's just like having like just normal dialogue with it, and he just you know, just
you did that impression so good. Like
maybe I am a zombie. He did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, for sure. I just like how everything's put together because, well, you know, as the name suggests, Lisa Frankenstein, this is a Frankenstein monsters movie. And it's actually very reminiscent to the movie Heathers, which is like 80s classic. And honestly, like I liked that too because I mean, even though it's not explicit nods to this movie, like you could definitely feel the sense of that with the humor and with how the body parts come together. Like he essentially has to well, he doesn't have to, but he decides to get parts of his body. But one of my favorite lines of this movie is, so Lisa, she's just like, oh, we can't, like her reaction, she's like, we can't until we bury the body. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that line had me screaming. It's so funny. And I'm just like, oh shoot, this is like a Heathers movie now. Let's go.
Yeah.
We have to bury the body first. It's like,
yeah,
girl?
we have to bury the body. It's like, girl, what? I mean,
What?
like, yeah.
No, for sure.
Should have been in a psychiatric hospital.
Right? Like, maybe she should be admitted to a hospital. Like, maybe
Did need
Janet was
help.
right. Hot take.
You do need help.
Can we talk about how like she gave him a clothing montage?
Yes, I would love to talk about that. Thank you for bringing that up. And my question is, how did she find okay, actually first my question was, how did she find all of these men's clothing? But then I just remembered she's a seamstress and she
Yeah.
probably like took dude's clothes.
Yeah, she was taking dudes because she was smelling that dude's like jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
She's
was
like
smell
Probably
like
wears some of it
red
too,
wine.
honestly.
Mhm.
Before like her like glow up, she probably wore some of that too.
That's true. But I just like the little clothing montage, and she was just basically, you know what? I'm just gonna build a boyfriend, essentially, and I
Literally.
just like that. Yeah,
Yeah. No, she really
Remember, this
did.
ain't build a bitch. We lie.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Because she does have a crush on this guy at her school, but she basically was like, well, for now, I'm just gonna make this like an indie type of boyfriend, and I just like she really is like I guess like projecting onto him because another line that I noticed was when she's giving him a shower. She's just like, "Oh, this is the station that Taffy listens to. It's for beer sluts, but this is the college station for people like us." And I'm like, "Girl, you don't even know this corpse."
No, exactly.
A dead man.
No,
Like
for
that
sure.
is a dead man that just came back to life.
Yeah, no, she definitely was like projecting for sure. One of my favorite lines is whenever she's talking about like different music to the chorus, and then she's like, "Yeah, this is called The Cure," and he like raises up his hand, his
Her
dismembered
lack
hand,
thereof.
and yeah, it's just like, no, like the man, I can't cure that.
You're not that kind of cure. I mean, it cures your soul, but like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. He just like puts down his arm in disappointment.
Right? But you know what? He was digging her too. Like, I guess like because he came back alive and found her because she was being all nice to him, like gave him his her mother's necklace and was by his side. So I'm just kind of thinking, was he just sentient for like freaking 200 years?
Yeah, it had to
Hearing
be.
all this shit? Like he had to be because it's like, how do you know that she's there? And like, what? How did you freaking find her address?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
know movies got a movie, but still, I'm
I
like,
like that is
that is so
definitely
funny.
suspension of disbelief there. Another thing I really liked about that sequence, movie in general, is just like she dresses him up in that montage. Next day, literally, she wakes up, deals with her family for a few minutes, comes back up to change, and is just like, "Can you get out of there? I need to change." Gives her a bomb outfit.
Yeah.
Right?
Really gives her like a goth bad outfit, and she's
hmm
instantly feeling herself when she's put it on.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a
Exactly.
good outfit. Like she rocks that outfit.
Yeah. I mean, I just like how she just transforms into a baddie, and you like it's still true to her. You know what I mean? Like it really is. Even though she's using her sister's clothes that she was basically like hand me down to her, like, oh no, I don't want this. Like, what did she say about the dress? It's like, oh, Taffy gave it to me because she got too many
Too many compliments
compliments.
of it.
Yeah.
That was so funny. But
Her
there's
walking
so
down
many
the
good right one-liners in this.
and then her walking down the hallway in the outfit and passing Taffy in the cheer squad, and she just like she could do pageants. I mean,
No.
she had congeniality.
Melody.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, girl, do you know what that means?
Right, exactly. Yeah, but I just love Lisa's outfits and all of in this movie. It's just so good. You really don't get a sense of what her true sense of style is,
Mhm.
but it's like you could tell she feels more confident with her zombie boyfriend.
Yeah.
And like he's like,
Also,
picking her out like all these like cool like goth looks. And I'm just thinking like his formal love, like in his, life probably was a goth baddie back in the day, you know?
Probably too.
He probably was. He was probably like a goth dude. I mean, he played the piano and stuff. He was super artsy. So she probably does know him and, that's how they
Yeah.
related to each other.
Also
Yeah,
liked
yeah,
how with the wardrobe in the movie, like you very much felt that it was like the late '90s going into the late '80s going into like
Mhm.
the '90s, and just like
Yeah.
that early onset of like grunge and punk stuff starting to come in. Like especially like some
Mhm.
of the outfits she wears towards the end of the movie, it's like, yeah, this was a good style.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
for sure. I think the cool thing too is like we do get a little bit of like, you know, development from like who the creature is, because like the outfits that he picked there, like honestly kind of give like a sense of where he probably was living in like the era. So I
Mhm.
mean, a lot of like when he started playing the piano, and then at the end of the movie when he's like reading like poetry and stuff, I mean, he had to have lived in an era where there was like a big influence on the arts. But we get that, we kind of get that sense of like, hey, this man probably was established in his past life,
Mhm.
so seeing her kind of transition into, someone that's more confident, it fits her. Like we have this dynamic of, yeah, this guy is dead. He is somehow given this dead person, this dead girl on the inside, like life. We see her
Yeah.
actually get more confident and more outspoken throughout the film. So they
Mhm.
did a phenomenal job, kind of like tying the two together.
Most definitely. And I do like that. I'm glad you said like that she's more outspoken because one thing that was mentioned because of the mom's tragic death was that she developed a traumatic mutism. So she didn't talk or like only talked like a few sentences. And then when she's talking to creature, then she starts talking more and becoming more outgoing and more confident and stuff. So, I mean, it's a beautiful story, and I'm glad you mentioned too about her feeling dead inside. And I'm like, oh man, like this movie's deep for it being a silly popcorn flick too. But I'm like, it's
Oh,
like
good
it's
foreshadowing.
really yeah, it's really good foreshadowing. And another thing I want to mention, another fun fact, since you mentioned about the poem at the end. The poem is actually called "To Mary," and it's by Percy Shelley, who was Mary Shelley's husband, and Mary Shelley is the writer of Frankenstein.
Yeah, the original Frankenstein. Yeah,
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was a poem of dedication to her. So I just love that little tidbit. And then I also have another trivia thing. So within the opening credits, of course, you see Lisa do a grave rubbing, of the Frankenstein thing. And actually, Mary Shelley, she learned how to write her own name that way by tracing the etching on her mother's grave. So there we go, boom. Because Mary Shelley was also low key like a freak too.
I heard something like that back in high school, because we actually did our book report. Like I don't know if you guys at school did this, but we had like one big book report toward the end of our senior year, because
Mhm.
that's British lit. So Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was the book that we did, and yeah, she's got out there. She got a lot going on. So if you read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and then you watch this movie, I think you actually enjoy it more, because there's so many like little nuggets about her version of Frankenstein that kind of correlates with this film. So I think that's a good like reference point.
I would say I'm pretty much like a literature head too. I have not read Frankenstein yet, but I definitely want to read it. But I have watched like the cinematic 1930s
Yeah.
film of it
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah,
But kind of like, with all that being said, I do like the tie-in between like, okay, well, it's punny Lisa Frankenstein, and then you think Lisa Frank, all that stuff. But it's
hmm,
also like there's nods to Mary Shelley in there too.
yeah,
And it's a Frankenstein story, but it also like you could even say that this is quasi a cinematic version of Mary Shelley, or at least like, what if Mary Shelley lived in the 80s? What would
Yeah.
you be into? You know?
What if Mary Shelley just, curated Frankenstein and pieced them together with a tanning bed?
Just
Yes,
about
I
to
just
say.
like how he becomes more alive with the electrical shock of a tanning bed.
Yeah.
That is so camp. I love that. It's so
Yeah.
funny.
No, for sure. I just love some, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like every time he got into that tanning bed, he just got a little bit sexier. Like
I'm glad you mentioned
Absolutely
that
did.
because I was low key thinking that too. Even though, like, before he's like in his final alive form, even
mhm,
with like kind of like the greenish skin, it's like,
yeah,
yo, why is he like low key fine?
yeah, he's like
Cole
no, it's so
Sprouse.
weird. It's so weird
Yeah,
because like
because it is Cole Sprouse, duh, and
I
Cole Sprouse
like
is very handsome, but like,
the fact that, like, slowly over the course of the movie, the more part she puts on him, the more he just looks like Cole Sprouse.
yeah, he does. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, when she put on the hand, it's like he immediately just looked significantly better. I'm like, how'd you do that? Just put on a hand.
It's like,
They
what
start
was
like going into this big romantic dance number, twirling and stuff. And I was like, wasn't you like limping like 30 seconds ago? Like,
just like, what the was in that little pervert's hand that you do in this?
yeah.
A weird juju did that kid have?
right, he has the Riz now. This movie is so silly and it's so funny. And it's brilliantly dark. It's actually, I saw this Instagram post today talking about, they call it bubblegum horror, and I'm like, you know what? That's the perfect name for this.
Yeah. No, it really is. So uh, I thought it was gonna be like some cheesy rom com or whatnot, but like it's just like I just love how zany this movie is. I also like the whole family dynamic because like they all parallel each other.
It gets better upon rewatch. I was almost nervous that it wasn't going to be better upon rewatch, but after seeing it 3 times, I'm like, yo, this movie's that girl. It really is.
Yeah. I think this is a great like twist on like a like if you want a fun like Halloween film, I think this
For
is
sure.
Yeah,
definitely great for spooky season, because you still
yeah,
kind
this
of
is
get this
perfect.
like dark romanticism between the creature and Lisa and stuff, but it's just so goddamn funny. Like
So funny.
it's just so quirky in its own
Very
way
fun
and like
time.
unique, down from like,
Hmm.
it's so wild that all of this was like meshed together because of some lightning bolt storm
Yeah.
and like all of the alterations is coming from a tanning bed.
What's the
Yeah.
origin of the tanning bed? Telling me a teenage girl won a teenage girl's beauty pageant, and the prize was a tanning bed.
That's
You
Yeah.
right.
gave a child a tanning bed, a faulty one at that.
They're trying to kill people. They really are. But you know, it was the 80s, YOLO.
No, really.
Not
These are rad. You can do anything in the 80s.
You could really
me.
do anything. I mean, the 80s is the only time where you get like a meat lover's pizza that's mostly meat instead of
Yeah.
pizza
It's
with a
piece of
free
meat
orange
lovers.
crush.
Yeah, congratulations. You got pizza flavored meat lovers.
Eat this meat cracker and then go in my faulty tanning
Meat
booth.
cracker. That's the biggest takeaway, like, is how ridiculous that pizza is, because that just like gave us all heartburn just by
Yeah.
looking at it.
No, it really did.